I've covered Safari for the iPhone lots here on the channel, especially as it had some major improvements in iOS 17, but even without those improvements, there are so many features in Safari that I reckon most users have absolutely no idea about. So in this video, I'm going to share 12 tips and tricks for Safari on the iPhone to help you get the most out of the iPhone's default browser. Stick with me until the end of the video, even if you're a Safari Pro, I reckon there's at least a couple of tips here that you won't know about. Okay, let's get into it. If you've got a tab group open in Safari and you want to share its links with someone, there's the simple option of tapping the share button at the bottom of the screen and doing it that way. The problem is the iPhone only lets you share via iMessage. If you want to share through other platforms like email or WhatsApp, for example, here's a workaround. Let's say I have a tab group called Hotels to Consider, and it's for an upcoming holiday, and I want to share these links with a friend for their feedback. To do this, first tap the tab icon located at the bottom right of the screen. Then tap and hold the name of the tab group for a moment. In this instance, my tab group is named Hotels to Consider. You'll again see an option to share the group, but remember this defaults to iMessage. Instead, tap on Copy Links. Then simply open your preferred messaging app, be it email, WhatsApp, Instagram, or whatever, and paste the links directly in there. Let's say you've done a Google search for some images. You're scrolling through the results and you realize you'd like to save lots of them. Typically, if you tap and hold an image, you'll have the option to save it. But doing this for every image that you want can be really time consuming. Here's a much quicker method to try. Tap and hold on an image for a moment, but then quickly move your finger to start dragging it. While keeping that finger pressed on the screen, use another finger or your other hand to tap on additional images that you'd like to save. This action creates a stack of images. Next, with your other hand, swipe up from the bottom of the screen to return to your home screen. Open the Photos app, ensure you're viewing your library, and then simply drop the photos directly into the library. You've now saved all of the images that you wanted. Also, you don't have to do this just for saving images. You could drag them into a message or an email, whatever you like. It's really frustrating to accidentally close a tab you were browsing, especially if you can't recall the address to return to it. Fortunately, there's a simple solution. Just shake your iPhone. This action is the undo gesture for the iPhone. I think a lot of people are aware of this, but I think most assume that it's only relevant during typing, but that's not the case. This works in situations like this as well. After shaking, select undo when prompted, and your recently closed tab will reopen. By the way, if you prefer to have content like this in a written format, there's a PDF version of this video complete with screenshots, and you can access it along with all other PDFs I've created, plus future ones, for just $5 a month. You can either scan the QR code that you can see on screen, or follow the link in the description of this video to learn more. When reading an article in Safari, you have the option to make your reading experience much better with Reader. Simply tap the AA button located in the address bar at the bottom of the screen and select Show Reader. Reader mode declutters the article, removing a lot of the background junk and providing options to adjust the background color and font for a more tailored reading experience. While this feature is incredibly useful, it can be annoying having to activate it manually every time. If there are specific websites where you always prefer to view the articles in Reader mode, there is a way to automate this. On a website that you want to enable this for, tap the AA button located at the bottom left of the screen and then select Website Settings. Within this menu, toggle on Use Reader automatically. With this setting activated, every time that you visit that particular website, Reader mode will be enabled automatically. I think that iCloud tabs are one of the most underrated features of Safari. Let's say, for example, you're on the train home from work and you're browsing a particular website. You get to your station, so you put your phone in your pocket. Then when you're at home that evening, you want to pick up where you left off, perhaps on your iPad or your MacBook. iCloud tabs allow you to do this at the touch of a button. First of all, you'll need to enable this feature on all of your devices. On your iPhone, open Settings and tap on your Apple ID. Then choose iCloud. Under Apps using iCloud, ensure that Safari is toggled on. You might need to tap the Show All button to access Safari. The process is exactly the same on your iPad. On your Mac, open System Preferences, click on your Apple ID, then choose iCloud. Under Apps using iCloud, ensure that Safari is enabled. Again, you might have to click the Show All button for this to work. With this done, and as long as all of your devices are signed into the same Apple ID, you should be able to view the iCloud tabs from all your devices. But to make this feature work, you will need to edit your Safari start page. To do this, open a new Safari tab and ensure that you're viewing your start page. Scroll down and tap the Edit button. You can have as many of these features toggled on as you like, but you'll need to ensure that iCloud tabs are enabled. With this feature enabled, you can see on the Start page that I'm able to view the open tabs for all of my devices, including my Mac Studio, my MacBook Pro, my MacBook Air, and my iPad. You would simply tap on one to visit that particular page. There's a Safari setting on your iPhone that might be active right now, and you might not know about it. The setting is called Preload Top Hit. Basically, every time that you conduct a Google search, your phone preloads the top search result in the background. The idea is that you're most likely to click on that result anyway, so having it preload ensures that it loads faster. However, this can mean that you're using extra data and battery life. Also, your phone is loading content in the background that you didn't explicitly request. You might think about turning this off, especially if you have a newer phone with a fast internet connection, where, let's face it, you probably don't need this feature. To disable this, open Settings, then select Safari and look for Preload Top Hit. Ensure that it's toggled off. You can easily share Safari pages to your Reminders app, which can be handy if you find something while browsing that you need to remember for later. Maybe you've discovered the perfect gift for someone, but you're not ready to buy it just yet, and you want a reminder for a later time. There are two methods to achieve this. The first is to tap the Share button at the bottom of the screen, and from the Share sheet, choose Reminders. Then follow the usual steps to create a reminder using that specific web page. An even easier way, however, is to use Siri. With the web page open, activate Siri and say, "Remind me about this." Your phone will recognize that this refers to the current web page and will set a reminder accordingly. You can also add specifics like "Remind me about this tomorrow" or "Remind me about this next week," and your voice assistant will adjust the reminder date accordingly. I'm a bit obsessive about not having too many tabs open, but I realize that that's not the case for everyone. Some people likely have tens or even hundreds of tabs open on their device at any time. Finding a particular tab in all this clutter is actually much easier than you might think, thanks to the search feature, although it's not immediately obvious how to find it. The irony of struggling to find a search feature is also not lost on me. Press the tab button in the bottom right corner of the Safari page to enter tab view, and then swipe down slightly on the screen. This reveals a search bar at the top of the page. Type there to locate the tab that you're searching for. It's worth noting that this method only works for the titles of the tabs. You can't search within a page using this method, which is kind of a shame. If you want to search within a specific web page, first tap on that page to make it the active tab, and then tap into the bar at the bottom of the screen. Type in the term that you're looking for. By default, Safari will search for this term on the web, but if you scroll down, you'll find a section labeled "On this page." If there's a match, you can tap here and your phone will highlight the matched text on the screen. By the way, if you're enjoying the content here, why not consider signing up to my free newsletter, The Proper Weekly, which you can do via the link in the description of this video or by scanning the QR code on screen now. The newsletter goes out each Friday, and I include some tech news from the week, a behind the scenes of what's happening here on the channel, as well as a tip for an item in the Apple ecosystem. Earlier in this video, I showed you how you can quickly share all the links from a tab group with someone using any method that you like. But what if you've got loads of tabs open and you want to share several, but not all of them? There's a simple method for this. Let's say that I've got 10 tabs open and I want to share 6 of them. I could close the tabs that I don't want to share, which is kind of inconvenient, or I could create a new tab group containing only the 6 tabs that I want to share, but that's also not ideal. There is an even easier way. Tap and hold one of the tabs that you want to share and then slightly move your finger. You'll know you're on the right track if you can drag the tab around the screen. While keeping your finger on the tab, use another finger or your other hand to tap on additional tabs that you want to include in the sharing list. You'll see that they group together, forming a sort of tab stack. Keep doing this until you've grouped all of the tabs that you want to share. Then, keeping your finger on the screen, use your other hand to swipe up from the bottom to return to the home screen. Next, open the app that you want to use for sharing these. For instance, if you're sending them via email, open the Mail app, tap to compose a new email, and then simply drop the tab links directly into the email body. Technically, this isn't a Safari feature, but it's something you'll use in Safari, which is why I'm including it here. If you've ever encountered a CAPTCHA on a website, you'll know how annoying they are. I'm referring to the grids where you have to tap all the traffic lights, for instance, or the text boxes where you verify handwriting. These are designed to prove that you're a real person and not a bot. While they're essential, your iPhone offers a feature that can reduce the number that you encounter. The effectiveness of this feature largely depends on how the website owner has set up their captcha, but fortunately, many now accept iPhone verification as standard. But you have to ensure that this feature is enabled on your device. To do this, open Settings and tap on your Apple ID at the top of the screen. Then tap on Sign In and Security. At the bottom of this page, ensure that automatic verification is enabled. As I mentioned, this won't bypass every captcha, but it should significantly reduce the number that you face, and its effectiveness should improve over time. Most people, I'm sure, know that if they tap the tab button in the bottom right corner of the screen, they can then select from any of their open tabs. What you may not realize is that you can also swipe to move between them. Simply swipe left and right at the bottom of the Safari page, where the address bar is, to navigate between the open tabs. Additionally, if you swipe up in this area and hold for just a moment, it performs the same function as tapping the tab button in the bottom right corner. There are a couple of important options that you need to be aware of when uploading images on Safari. For this example, I'll demonstrate by uploading a photo to Dropbox, but understand that the process would be exactly the same anywhere on Safari, where you're prompted to tap Upload and then choose a photo from your photo library. After choosing an image, you'll notice an Options button at the bottom of the screen. The first two options give you the ability to include or exclude certain metadata when uploading your image. You can choose to either include or exclude the location data and caption data. Honestly, most of the time, I would recommend disabling both. You're probably unaware of just how much metadata you're including when you upload photos to the internet. If you have the location toggled on, you are potentially sharing your exact location with anyone who accesses the photo. Below that, you have the option to change the size of the photo. If you choose full size, the file size will remain unchanged, but you can also opt for small, medium, or large, and your phone will provide an estimate of the new file size. Finally, at the bottom, you can select the format for the upload. I would generally leave this set to automatic, but you could change it to current, which will keep the file type as is, or switch it to most compatible. So there you go, 12 Safari tips and tricks. Was there anything in there that you didn't know about? Or are there some tips and tricks that you think I should have included instead? Drop me a comment and let me know. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.